no wonder. Low engagement as well, so people working in those contact centers, they're usually not happy. They've got a lot of attrition, a lot of churn in those contact centers. And probably the most important for me is they work very isolated with the rest of the business. Especially the ones that are in Manila or in India, they're very isolated from the rest of the business. So, yeah, these are the three main problems I found in contact centers. So, Sue and I, when we started at REA, what we found was very similar. Not as bad as the Centerlink example, but very similar. The team were meeting the basic service levels. Service levels is how quick you answer the phone calls or how long it takes you to reply to an email from a customer. Yeah? Disengaged team, people, churning, quitting, not really wanting to be there, and complaining about change. So if you know REA, it's a digital business, very rapid growing business. There was a lot of things, I've got a couple of people here at REA, a lot of things happening at REA all the time. And the people in the contact center were complaining about, oh, they don't tell us anything, change, everything's changing all the time. We let, the last here in the company. So, yeah, those are the three things we observe at REA. We use 4 strategies. That's where you want to start maybe writing down, because that's sort of the work you're going to have to do in a minute. We use 4 strategies. I've only listed 3 there, because one of the things we're going to do is a quiz and see if you can guess the 4th strategy. We use systems thinking approach. We use agile mindset and practices. And we use lean principles. And I say there that Agile alone will not solve all the problems. If we had used only Agile practices to try to turn that team around, we would not have succeeded. And I'll explain why in a minute. So that's where my presentation ends. This is good. I'm enjoying this. What we're going to do? We're going to break down into groups, right? You guys can self-select. This is very agile. Self-select the group and talk about these three strategies. Think about the theories behind what you've learned. You're practitioners of agile or systems thinking, of lean. Try to apply them to the situation I just told you. So you come into a contact center that is disengaged, not meeting service level, not meeting customer satisfaction. What would be the practices, the theories, the strategies you will apply in systems thinking, in agile, in lean? There's no right or wrong answer. Probably your answers will be better than the ones that I have prepared after. And if that's the case, I'll just say, all right, that's my presentation, here it is. So no pressure. Give you a bit of background of the contact center. It was relatively small. We're talking about 35 people in the contact center. We were receiving around 1,200 contacts a day between phone calls and emails. And our customers were both the real estate agents, so real estate agents listing on realestate.com.au, but also consumers like you and I looking for a property and wanting to, find out more about, that property or the other. And yeah, see if you can think about the 4 strategies that we apply. Yes?
Just a quick question, Eduardo. What were the measures of success that the business put onto the call center?
Very, very interesting one. The ones we had were service levels. So how quickly calls were answered. That's the one we had. I'm giving you a clue already there. Or how many calls will be answered within, 40 seconds or 45 seconds. Do you want to have a go at this? Yeah? Are you sure? Yeah? We'll make it, as painless as possible. We'll do only 10 minutes, yeah, and see how we go. Then I'll check again, and then I'll take over from there. Is that cool? All right. Over to you. So mingle in groups, 3, 4 people. Introduce yourselves.
The strategies.
Seems like all those require
Can we go back to the problem? Can we go back to the problem? Yeah. Is that okay?
Tweet it or something. You can tweet it to me or something.
Yeah, so I mean, effectively,
How are we going? Good? Maybe a bit more, 3-4 more minutes? A bit more?
yeah, so you focus
Maybe 2 more minutes? 2 more minutes or a bit more time? 2?
Hello?
People were disengaged. Technology wasn't helping. So all of the above.
Was there anything in the organizational strategy?
In the context of the problem itself. And now REA is quite a forward-thinking company in terms of Agile. That helped. We were talking about a bank where you have to convince them of changing
type of talk, so the guys have to work it out. But you were already there.
How are you? How's everything
All right, how are we going? Is that enough time? Hello? Hello? They're so engaged they can't hear me. Hey. 1, 2. You got it? Yeah? That's actually really good. Like, there was a lot of engagement conversation in your groups, and I'm here just sitting for 10 minutes. This works for me. I think I'm going to do these talks like this from now on. So now, what about we do 10 minutes, yeah, where you guys share 1, 2 ideas with the rest of the groups, and then that will take us to 11:30, and then I'll take over maybe 20 minutes, finish my presentation, and then 5 minutes for questions, and then you can go to your next talk. We do that. So 10 minutes, sharing ideas, strategies, techniques. Who wants to start? Who? Yep. I'll bring the microphone. I feel like a TV.
I'm wearing a suit, so you're into mode.
I have a jacket, so I'm the presenter guy. Hello, 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 hello. Working? All right, cool. So our idea was to create cross-functional buddy teams in the organization. So you have a call center, and then you also have somebody perhaps in DevOps or business or somewhere else that's almost a buddy to a team in the call center. They go and they do a field trip, visit the call center maybe once a month. So what we're trying to create is informal networks to solve problems. The business then owns the problem from when the customer calls all the way through to the completion to happy customer, because the customer is the arbiter of value. And then we provide that feedback back to the call center as fast as possible. Real time would be perfect.
I love it. We didn't do that, but I love it.
And then we decided that that the other thing that we would do here is, apart from reconsidering the metrics, which obviously needs to be done, is that we would build a customer based on the metrics. Because we just solved that problem in like half an hour. So we figured daily rate's not really a sustainable business model. So we're going to charge them based on improving metrics. Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah. That was good. Someone else, who wants to go next?
That's all right. Doing some exercise as well.
So we came with one word for the strategy, which is customer focus. That's why these people are working in a contact center. They want to work for their customers and satisfy them. So we think the fourth strategy is customer focus. And to enable that, we need to get rid of the service levels and targets of few minutes or seconds. We want to enable these people to have an end-to-end experience, satisfying their customers. And as part of that, they will probably need to learn more about what's happening in the business, what's changes going on, what kind of new products are coming, and probably learn a little bit more about the company as well. So customer focus is the fourth strategy.
You work at REA at the same time that I was there. Really good. Next. Another group. Anyone? Yeah?
Hi. For us, it was more about finding out the real reasons, because this, I think, it is from the management point of view that these are the factors, but we would like to directly know from the team itself of what's the problem and what are the daily issues that they are facing. So we would rather have like a pre-mortem or a retrospective right with the whole team at the start to understand various issues and then categorize them accordingly. So it can be that the team is like overworked or they are not being rewarded well. So we would like to take those points into consideration and rather start building or working on them in order to gain good service levels, good engaged team, and who don't complain about changes and all. So.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. We'll see. That's one of the things we did, so definitely.
And I didn't work it again.
Anyone else?
Well, our things was similar. We said we wanted to conduct a retro with everybody.
We like that.
No. Retro if I needed. One of the things I would want to do is a story map or a process map out of all of the things that they go through, and then try and identify the pain points across all the different things like the systems, the people, the data, the process.
Yes. Very good. One more group. You guys want to have a go? Still have 2 or 3 minutes. Anyone? I'm enjoying
We
the...
talked about a very similar concept to everyone else saying there needs to be more weight, human-centered design approach
Yes, yes, yes,
to the entire customer journey.
yes.
So we look at what's causing issues in the call centre, which might not be the fact that the call centre is slow, that they're getting extra call volumes. Let's look at why the customers are ringing in to try and reduce that load at the start.
That's it. That's the system thinking approach. Understanding the customer demand. So we'll talk about it in 1 second. That's spot on. That's my presentation. Great, thank you. We'll unfold a little bit more that concept in 2 minutes.
Another additional thing we thought of was change management.
Yes?
Doing proper change management, change, something like that in the
Yep, change management. Thank you.
The point that we came up with in our group that haven't heard thus far was empowering the team to, given their goals and the metrics and whatever and their constraints, and so given that often service desks are often process bound,
Yes.
saying, well, you be masters of your own process, and
Yes.
and come up with your own ideas and evolve your process on a weekly, whatever, fortnightly basis, and to meet your goals.
Absolutely, spot on as well. We'll see that as well. That was really good. Thank you, guys. Anyone else? One last? No? My turn now? Okay. Hopefully you'll see that some of these concepts are applicable for not only contact centers, but all the type of non-software development teams as well. But yeah, you guys touch on the 3 probably strategies. I will ask you later about the 4th one, if you have spoken about the 4th strategy. But we'll start, so what actually happened? We'll start with systems thinking, which is, gentlemen, yeah, the team, that team up there. Do you know John Seddon? Have you heard of John Seddon? If you haven't, I'd totally recommend to look it up on the internet. John Seddon, S-E-D-D-O-N. He wrote a book called Freedom from Command and Control. He's got a consultancy in the UK called Vanguard. He's one of the gurus in systems thinking worldwide. And he actually has a view of how service organizations and contact centers should work, which is very different to how traditional contact centers actually work. So the strategy that we follow, to put it in simple terms, was reduce the number of calls. If you reduce the number of calls coming into the contact center, guess what? People have more time to spend with the customers. People have more time to do training. People have more time to be upskilling. People have more time to do everything. So the simple strategy we follow was reduce the number of calls coming into the contact center. REA was a growing business. It grew 30% on revenue and customers year on year on the years that I was there. And we were able to reduce the number of calls 20% every year. How do you do that? Through a systems thinking approach. So this is from John Seddon. This is the Vanguard view of contact centers. And I'm going to try to explain this diagram in 2 minutes. But if you look at the top where it says point of transaction, that's what most organizations and most contact centers focus on. So you have the customer demand coming in, your customer queries, and here's your contact center or your service organization or your salespeople. They're here trying to meet that customer demand. Where most contact centers focus is on that point of transaction. How many calls we receive, how long those calls are for. You ask any contact center manager, they will tell you how many calls they get on a year. We get 1 million calls every year. My next question is, how many can you get rid of next year from that million? They don't know. Because they're looking at it from a point of transaction. What John Seddon says is, look at it from a customer demand point of view. Understand what your customers are calling you for. And he divides it in 2. Failure demand or value demand. Value is what your contact center was there to do. Failure, something's gone wrong in the organization, so the customer had to call. So my invoice, going back to the example, I received my bill, my Telstra bill is incorrect, I have to call. That's a failure call. Something has gone wrong, so I need to call. If I want to upgrade my broadband, that's a value call. It's something that I was there to do. So focus on the customer demand and measure that. Measure failure and value coming in. Once you understand failure, what do you need to do? Remove those calls from coming in. That's simple. Sounds simple, takes a bit longer, but that's the strategy behind it. Second thing is, you need to focus is how much value are you creating for each value demand. So for the people at REA, when I started, agents still had to call us to change the password on the agent system. You know, it was a pleasant call, but in 2012, you can change your password automatically, can you? So we weren't adding any value to those calls. So what you do is talk to the IT teams and say, hey, we're getting that many calls about this. What about you guys fix it? Not on these words. You try to build a relationship with, as someone said, with the business. Yeah, so you remove those calls as well. 3, how it flows through the system. Not all the calls are going to be able to be solved in the contact center. Some will have to go to marketing, finance, someone else, sales. How does that value and that demand flow through the system? Does it flow smoothly, or is there a bottleneck somewhere in the business that you need to be aware of? 4th thing is the system's condition. So that's how the contact center is structured, the roles you have. How do you pay people? How do you reward people? How do you use metrics? That's that fourth one, the system's conditions. And the 5th one is the managerial thinking. So what are the leaders? The leaders you have, I think we talk about, is the leadership aligned with this? So are your leaders and the leaders in the organization aligned? So that's what we did. We started looking at customer demand. And when we started looking at customer, you're right. When we started looking at customer demand, we realized that 75% of all the calls we received were failure demand. 75%. No wonder people were unhappy. 3 of every calls were because we failed to do something for the customer. That's why we're calling us. Not good. So once you identify failure demand, what you do is just follow that all the way to the root cause. You follow through the system. I'll give you an example which illustrates why traditional contact centers will never solve these issues this way. We were receiving calls from people like you and I that thought that we were the real estate agent. So I said, I'm just calling about this house. I said, and the call was very pleasant. Oh, sorry, we're not the agent. We're real estate. We're the publisher. I can put you through if you want, or here's the number you're looking for. 30 seconds call. Very pleasant, good customer experience. If we had to look at traditional metrics, that's a short call. That's okay. We're doing well. But that's noise coming into the contact center of those calls. What happened is we follow it through. Why are those calls coming in? And we realized that on our mobile application, the number, our 1-300 number, was more prominent than the agent's number. And with the click to call, people just click it and call us. Not a big deal, but probably that amounted to 2,000 calls every week. You remove those, we're winning. So, but for that, we had to follow through all the way and understand where it came from. Not just measure how long those calls go for, but understand the cause behind it. So what you do is, I don't know if that's a word, but once you find the failure, you eliminate it working with the business. And use data to talk to the business. So don't just go to the business and say, hey, we've got a bunch of customers, or we've got a few calls. Give them the percentages, the numbers. 7% of calls we receive is because of this failure or that failure demand. And then someone said it as well. What you do is you design a human system that works. So as a leader, or as the leaders, you just nurture an environment where people actually are in charge of taking decisions. And that's where Agile, for us, came very handy. So we're going to go on the Agile bit now. Any questions on the systems thinking approach? So spot on. So reduce number of calls, look at it from a customer demand point of view rather than from metrics point of view. Is this making sense so far? Good. So Agile, how did we use Agile, or what was Agile for us in a contact center? I put there mindset and practices, because for me, for us, and probably for all of you, I don't have to tell you, they're different. We had a lot of people, a lot of tools coming into REA to see how we operate, how the contact center operates. We published a blog about a year ago, and a lot of people came to see how we were doing things. And people, I said to a lot of people, I can show you the practices. You can see the walls, you can see the stand-ups, but what I can't show you is the mindset behind of what you do. And the mindset for us was about collaboration, was about transparency, was about communication, and was about accountability of everyone in the team. The practices, the tools, were just enablers all of that we wanted to achieve. So I'm going to just run through a few of the practices and how we use them in the contact center. The first one is starts with a purpose. Whatever you do, whatever your team you have, is a contact center, software development, finance, marketing, start with a purpose. Why are people there for? And in a contact center, if we go outside now and we go to any schools and we ask any kids from 6 to 10 years old, no one's going to, and you ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? No one's going to tell you they want to work in a contact center. No one. But you have people working in contact centers, and they want to feel part of they're doing something important. So, you know, make it easy for those people. Help them find that purpose with the team. That photo is, all these photos, by the way, are real photos of the contact center. That's a flash mob we did in a Christmas party at REA. Were you in the, yeah? People from REA? Were you Stella? No, you were in that one. That's me in the middle. So yeah, make sure that you start with a purpose. The team has to own a purpose. And it shouldn't come down from the leadership. They need to come up with what's the purpose they want. Stand-ups. I don't need to tell you probably about stand-ups. I'm sure you're practitioners. You do stand-ups. But in a contact center, it's tricky. You can't just leave the phones unattended. So how do you do that? So we came up with an idea of having 2 stand-ups every day. And people will take turns. And the stand-ups, rather than following the Scrum workbook, you know, and, you know, going through the ceremonies and all the right process, what we did is make it useful for the guys. And the guys own it at the end. It was about talking about what happened the day before, how many calls we got the day before, you know, the rostering, who needs to be where today. And the guys started, the people from the contact center started owning the day-to-day operations through the daily stand-ups. So it wasn't so much about what did you do yesterday, well, take phone calls. What are you going to do today? I'm going to take phone calls as well. So that wouldn't have worked. So we applied the principle to what we thought, you know, was going to work for us. Let the people own that stand-up. We had a sprint wall, similar to a software development. We put all the projects on the wall. 90 days, we had 90 days projects, and we went on a fortnightly iteration. And we tried a similar thing as the pairing thing in software development. We had someone more senior in the team working with one of the more junior members working in specific projects. And that helped a lot with the coaching and, you know, professional, personal development from the people in the team. Please, in any team, and I probably don't have to tell you this either, visualization of work. No spreadsheets, no work documents. We didn't even have a workforce management system, a roster. The roster was a wall with avatars of people and times where they will start, so they could change it themselves. I'm starting at 9. Actually, can I change that shift with you to 11? So no workforce management system, no rostering system, everything on the walls. That one there, that ray that you see, it was a very easy way of seeing everything that was happening in the business in just one simple visualization poster. So in the contact center, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of product launches. Remember talking to you about change. There's so many things happening. The product managers are launching 3 products next month, and there's this go-to-market initiative, and there's the sales doing that promotion. So how can a contact center cope with all that? That radar started from 3 months, and in the center it's today. And you had all those projects, just 1 card per project telling you when they were coming. So rather than having an Excel spreadsheet, everyone in the contact center could see, product X is launching in 2 weeks. We need to start getting ready with the training. We need to start getting ready with the, whatever it is, with the Q&A if customers call us. So use visualization of work as much as you can. We talk about retrospective. Yes. Key for us at the beginning. No one had asked these guys, what's wrong? No one. So when we asked them what's wrong, they were like, are you seriously asking me? And I remember, I didn't come from an Agile background. I remember the first one that Sue ran, we had in what's not working, all full of Post-it notes. In what's working, we had 1 or 2. What's puzzling me, we had, plenty. And I was getting very nervous and said, this is good. She was telling me, this is good. It means, they're willing to speak up. And we did a lot of retros at the beginning, a lot of them. But then there was a point where we're not getting value out of the retros because, the issues were we were fixing the issues. The team was engaged. So again, we didn't follow the traditional every 2 weeks or after every sprint session when you need to do a retro. We did it when we saw they fit. Again, we used the practice when we saw the business outcome will fit. Any questions on the Agile? Yeah.
Just on that last one about the retro, so how did the group determine whether you would or wouldn't have a retro?
At the beginning, we did it very often. We did it probably every 2 weeks, and it was more a feeling, to be honest. I'm just trying to think of the answer. It was more a feeling where we thought they were needed. We tried to schedule every 2 weeks at the beginning, and then when you start seeing that a lot of the cards are about positive stuff and less about things that are not working, you see less value in doing it this way. So you go to other practices then. So we tried to schedule every 2 weeks, and then it was more a feeling thing for us.
How did you manage cross-functional demands for the changes? So something didn't work and it was outside of your team's control. How did you intentionally push that change through? Or at least...
How do we talk to the business about...
Yeah, or how do you prioritize
your
those items? So most probably nearly all of those are pretty outside of your control.
Yeah, absolutely. Some were inside of our control, and those were great, and some were outside of our control. So we were talking about problems from the IT team or the finance. Talking to them, that's the key. So yeah, believe it or not, we were lucky because REA had Agile practices extended. So you have the stand-ups from each IT department or each product team. So we will send someone from the contact sector to those stand-ups and speak up about the issues that we were seeing. And at the beginning, it was a bit awkward for everyone. But at the end, we educated REA in the information coming from the contact center was so valuable that they will come then to us to understand what was that failure demand. We tried different things as well. So we tried something called customer voice wall, which was putting all the issues in one of our walls and inviting all the product managers from the business. So you remember that one, and that will work well for a while. So it's about trialing and testing different things, but the key is talk to the business.
Essentially, just a feedback loop.
Yeah. No tickets. No tier system. Just go to the stand-ups, talk to them, bring them to the contact center, get them to listen to a few calls. Just that human interaction is key.
Software engineers to come and listen to the phone call as well.
That's right. All right. Any more questions on the Agile? I'm going to jump into some of the lean principles we apply. I think I've got a couple of examples here. How are we going with time? 15 minutes. So whatever you do, rapid experimentation, learn, fail fast, learn fast. Yes, that's that same thing we did here. We launched we didn't have web chat, live chat with our customers. We launched it without going through the typical channel of, an IT project manager. We just went online, bought a license from a company called Live Chat, and speak to someone in IT and get them to install it in our agent admin system. Try it with the Tasmanian customers. They love it. South Australia, they love it. In 3 weeks, we launched a new challenge that cost us $300, rather than having to go through a 1 year of. And if it didn't work, that's okay. We would have learned very fast. Customers love that channel. There's smiles there. Remove barriers from your customers. That's my mission in life. Remove as many IVRs as I can from now on. Make it easy for customers to deal with you. Don't make them through the pain of having to punch options, which usually is just an internal metric and doesn't make any sense from a customer point of view. All the customers, all the companies that I talk to, they said, but we're very complicated. We need to have it because we're very complicated. I said, no, you're not. You're just selling software. You're just a bank. They're not complicated. And as you mentioned, remove the metrics that don't matter and just measure the ones that matter. We only measure 2, customer satisfaction, as in from customers, from a customer survey, and failure and value demand. That's where the 2 things that we're tracking. And most importantly, let the team own that measure. Never set individual targets. Never set targets. Let the team set their own targets. Let the team own the metric. Let the team own what they're there for. So that's the 3. The systems thinking, agile, and lean applied to a contact center. Hope you can see now that if you can apply it to a contact center, you can apply it anywhere else where you're working. Does anyone want to have a guess at the 4th strategy, to give it a name? Or what was key for this to succeed? Does anyone want to have a go?
At the risk of sounding a bit too internally efficient, ticket deflection.
Which one, sorry?
Ticket deflection.
Ticket deflection.
Yeah. No. There we go.
What's ticket deflection?
Like self-help optimization.
That's part of the system thinking, I'll say, but yes.
I was saying customer-centered design, client focus.
Client focus, yes. Good. Not the one that I'm looking for.
Political support from executives. What do you do these things?
Political support from executives. Or, in other words, brave leadership. That's right. The biggest block in any agile transformation is people like me. And that is someone that is over 40, that has gone through the ranks, in typical command and control companies, and gets to 40, to a managerial role, and says, that's my time to tell everyone what to do. And to relinquish that power is not easy. And if you don't have leaders that believe in that, it's not going to work. So it's not only about the direct leader, but your leader as well, or your sponsor in an agile transformation. How did you call it? I like it. Political?
Well, I just used the word political support from executive. But
yeah, no. Love it.
I was going to ask you that question because time and time again I see that, okay, let's say you reduce failure demand, right?
Yeah.
But somebody's career somewhere is based on lots of failure. Is it this empire I built?
Yes. Yep.
And lots of pushback.
That's right. So, Sue and I love, Sue is the one that usually does this part of the presentation. She's, I'm going to try to do my best how she describes what brave leadership is for her. She describes it in 3 mindsets. So I'm just going to give you the 3 mindsets. The first one is the servant leader. You know, the one that is there not to do the things, but to actually remove blocks from anyone in the team, for everyone in the team. That servant mindset is about believing that everyone's doing their best as well and supporting that people in your team. I love that quote. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. So that's the first mindset. Second one is about coaching mindset. Make sure that you develop and nurture other leaders in whatever you do. It's not about you. It's about them. And the third one is not being afraid of saying, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. Which is what Sue and I told the team when we first started. We have no idea how we're going to turn this around. And I think that was a key for them to see us as human, you know, and get them on board in what we're trying to achieve. So have that vulnerability mindset. Sue does a much better job than me explaining this part, but I hope I get the message across. So the results, customer satisfaction went to the roof. We were around the 9s all the time in customer satisfaction. I didn't say it, but we were about 4 when we started, 4 out of 10 in customer satisfaction. We had an engagement survey. I don't fully believe in engagement surveys, but the team rated us 88% in over 100. What I can tell you is that people stopped leaving the contact center. We had an average tenure of nearly 3 years in a contact center. That's unheard of, nearly 3 years of tenure in a contact center. And the ones that left to other parts of the business, product managers, go-to-market managers, operations. We were a lot of people that, you know, continued their career at REA. And customer failure fell to around 20%. And that's healthy numbers, 20%, because if you're below that, it means you're not doing anything new. So you need to fail in a business. It's good to launch things that are not, you know, fully perfect. A lot of people, this is the last slide, and I'll let you go to your next session. A lot of people ask us, when did you think you achieved? When did you think you achieved the transformation? And I don't think you finished. The transformation probably still going without us there. They are still in that journey. But there was one moment that was critical for us. We were doing, as I said, we were doing the sprint planning with the cards. You're all familiar with that. And we're putting all the cards when we finish in a spike. So every sprint planning session, when we finish all the completed cards, we'll go into a spike. Yeah? Some people put them in a fishbowl. Some people, I'm not an agile purist. Some people put it in a spike. We put it in a spike. So you know, in a few months, the spike got full. And someone in the team asked me, what do you do with those cards now? I said, I don't know. I don't know if you have to burn it, maybe, and do a ceremony around them or something. I don't know. So, and we left. And the next day we came back, and the team had chosen to put the word change in the windows of the contact center using those cards. So all these things you see there are the index cards that we had used in all those spring planning sessions. And that's what Sue and I thought, we've done something here. For a team that was complaining about change so much, now, you know, to embrace it, to put it into the walls of the contact center, we've done something special here. So, one more minute. If you want to take some homework with you already done a lot of work today with, you know, with this Harvard workshop stuff, but if you want to take some homework with you, here's some questions for you to take and ask yourself or ask the organization you work for. Does your company understand customer demand? What percentage of failure demand do you have in your organization? Do you know the cost to your organization of all that failure demand? Is your system designed from an inside view or from customer view? How can you apply agile practices and lean principles to your non-software development teams? I hope you learned some of that. And how brave are you as a leader? Or how brave is the leader in your team organization? So that's the talk, 11:55, so you've got 5 minutes to go to your next talk. Thank you. Is there any questions or anyone with a quick question, maybe the last minute? No? Yep.
When it comes to making, let's say you have two solutions for a problem, maybe a bigger one or a smaller one.
Yep.
You have two solutions and no one wants to really take the ownership of that.
Yeah.
As a team, no one is willing to support one or the other. How do you make the decision in that case? How you go for the third one?
They don't want any of the two solutions?
No, it's not what they want or don't want. They don't know which one to support.
Right.
You evaluate these two. Because everything is given by dollar, right? So at the end of the day, you have to spend money and try and go.
Right.
Something that will go next 2 years.
Maybe I'll need more background. If you want, I'll stay for 5 minutes after the. Maybe we can talk about more about the specifics on that to give you an answer. I don't want to give you a, but I'm happy to talk to you after this.
So what projects were you running in the call center?
Yeah.
So, because it's
Yeah.
software.
Yeah.
So what?
We divided, the swim lanes we had were divided into people, processes, technology, and knowledge. And we realized that all those projects fit in one of those 4 categories. People have review remuneration, or how career path works for people in the contact center. Technology, change the phone system. We had to change the phone system at some point. Processes, all the failure demand will be processes. Knowledge, how we do better coaching or quality coaching. So these are the sort of projects we were managing. We had a wide range of projects in the contact center. Any other question? No? That was fun. I enjoyed that. Did you enjoy it? Yes? Good? Thank you, guys.